Hey yo, what is going on everybody? It's your boy X coming at y'all with a brand new video, and as you guys can see, we're back at it with another tier list, and I realized that I didn't cover the Amethyst, so we're going to go ahead and cover all of the best Amethysts and some of the worst Amethysts in 2K21, and if you guys are excited, make sure you guys smash that like button down below, as well as comment who is the favorite Amethyst of yours that you guys gotta run every single time you guys have the ability to. If I had to be honest, it's probably Amethyst Cp3 for me right now. I'm just an absolute demon, but let me know down there. As well as subscribe if you guys are new. We are on that road to 10K subscribers. We're slowly getting our way up there, so please hit that sub button. It would mean a lot. So starting off, we're going to go through the D tier and show you guys all of these off rip. We have Amethyst Bismack, Biyombo, Morris Peterson, Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Scott, and Dennis Rodman. Now, the only one that I can kind of view as too much controversial is Dennis Scott, but man, when I say I've had some cards that play, pretty terrible when I use them, but this Dennis Scott, every single game that I use him just played absolutely horrid. He does not shoot how I needed him to. He didn't play any defense. He couldn't play make, obviously, and he just did not finish at all. No thank you. Bismack, Biyombo, and Dennis Rodman are both just like non-shooting bigs. Isaiah Thomas is sadly just way too short, even in 2K21 Next Gen, where height doesn't matter too much. Isaiah Thomas still is a bit too short, and Morris Peterson's just a shooter and really doesn't give you too much. I've never missed more wide open layups than when I was doing Morris Peterson's XP, man. It was tough. It was tough. Next up, in the C tier, we have Chandler Parsons, who again, to me, is kind of just a shooter. I've seen some people that really love this card, but to me, he kind of just hits threes, and that's really about it. He didn't really play defense. He doesn't really finish. He doesn't really get rebounds. He doesn't really do anything other than shoot. So for me, not my guy. Next up is Bryant Reeves, a really solid card that I feel like plays good at the center position, get the midi, can rebound well, can play some decent defense, and can rebound okay. Just somebody that I'm not jumping to when I think about centers, especially budget centers. Bryant Reeves is not the guy. Next up is Tom Gugliatta, a guy who's really offensive heavy, doesn't really play a lot of defense, and kind of rebounds for his position because he's a power forward. But I feel like there's so many guys that can play that all offense role while still giving me a little bit something else. Does help. But Tom Googs is still great, and eventually we'll probably get a diamond that's just demon-like. But at this current point in time, this anime Tom Googs is not somebody I'm going to be running. Next up is Tim Hardaway. Again, another one of those guys that I feel like I ran and I just could not do anything with for the life of me. Tim Hardaway just felt terrible. A little bit undersized. The finishing was okay. The shooting was okay. The playmaking was okay. And the defense was interesting because mine had lock takeover, but I did not have clamps or anything like that. So he'd get lock takeover, and that's finally when he kind of played defense. But yeah, don't invest in this Tim Hardaway. There's so many better PGs that can really do a lot for you. There's just no reason to really use them. Next up is Amethyst Stefan Marberry, who is basically the same as his diamond. Gets to the basket great, shoots okay, plays no defense, and play makes fine, and is basically just a bad Derrick Rose, which is, fine if that's what you're looking for. But again, there's so many great point guards out right now that I don't think Stefan Marberry should be on your list. Next up is Maurice Spates, a card that I actually really like, just because he is a taller guy with the jump shot for base, which is actually, one of my favorite ones. I think he's super solid. I think he's super nice. It's just, it's a little tough, I think, to use this Maurice Spates because he's not the greatest at defenders, or actually, he's a good defender, sorry, but he's not a good rebounder. So you're going to shoot pretty great, at the power forward center, but you're not going to be able to get boards, especially because you really want to run him at the stretch, and it's a conflicting scenario, to say the least, with Maurice Spates. Next up is Kyrie Irving. Kyrie, I think, has actually had a resurgence this year. I hated him last year, but I think this year Kyrie's animations are so much better that it's great. His diamond is a really solid card, and I like this Kyrie Irving because he has the ability, shoot from deep, play make well, and even finish a little bit. But for some reason, I just really don't find myself liking this Kyrie Irving card too much. There's another PG that came at the exact same time as this Kyrie Irving that I find myself liking way more. So I don't really see a reason to use Kyrie Irving either, even batched up. Next up is the Amethyst Julius Irving, who's a great slasher, and if you give him, quick for 7, things like that, can be great on offense, but not a great card, really. but I was able to really make it work. I was able to shoot really consistently because of that really great jump shot base. He felt smooth, he felt clean, but just not a card that I'm really going to be running very often because he's just missing way too many badges. Next up is Richard Barnett. You know, we got to avoid the demonetization with that, but he's a great card. I think he just does a lot of things pretty well, but nothing, I think, amazing. Okay finisher, good shooter, decent playmaker, and very lackluster defender. So he's okay, but just, again, not a card that I'm really jumping for. And last but not least, into the C tier is Del Curry, who's really just a guy who comes out and just hits threes. And oh my god, is he good at that. He doesn't give you anything else. He's an amazing shooter, but that's really about it. Next up is Charles Oakley, who's kind of just like a wannabe stretch big. I mean, that's kind of the best I can explain it. Now, he is decent. I will say that. He's not like a absolutely terrible defender, but he can definitely, you know, hit the occasional three ball. But the thing that he's going to be doing is playing defense, and on the opposite, on the offensive end of the floor, it's really just the occasional midi, the occasional three-point shot, and some dunks, and that's really about it for Charles Oakley. But his defense, I think, is so good at the power forward position that I actually kind of like running him, and I think in offline mode, he's actually pretty solid. Next up is Boris Dio, a card that's very outdated at this current point in time, but he's just so versatile, is so great off catch, and even if you have a badged up one, can be amazing. So this Boris Dio still holds a special place in my heart. Next up is Stacey Augment, who is kind of meant to just be a two-way slasher, really get into the paint, play great in there, and still play solid defense, and then occasionally shoot, not really that consistently, and he is very tall, very nice, with a pretty decent jump shot, if I remember correctly. Stacey Augment, I think, can do a lot of great things for you, but you do have to know how to avoid having not the greatest of shooters on there, but everything else that he does is actually pretty nice. Next up is Sharif Abdul Raheem. I love the jumper on Sharif. I think the only negative on this card is the fact that we're slightly slow and we're capped out at bronze clamps. I think if Sharif could get up to gold clamps, he would be a super, super solid card. Just absolutely love him. He plays great, but again, limited in some aspects because of badges. Next up is Rick Fox, a card that I liked for a while, and then I hated for a while. I wasn't really sure how I felt about him for a little bit, but you know what? Rick Fox is a pretty decent shooter, which you gotta like. With jump shot 32, it's a pretty decent jumper, so he gets them pretty open. Same one as Nick Anderson, and he's a really good defender as well. Can kind of finish, has an 80 driving dunk. Like, he's good all around. I just don't find him really jumping out at me as exceptional as anything, so I think B tier was solid for him. Next up is Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing, I feel like, just does everything that he's supposed to do perfectly well, and doesn't give you anything outside of that, which really isn't a problem, because if you're picking up a Patrick Ewing card, you're probably looking for a more traditional big man that plays in the post, plays defensive rebounds well, and I think that, you know, Patrick Ewing does everything that you would need and also gives you a mid-range for that. So I think when it comes to non-traditional big men, at least at the Amethyst position, I think Patrick Ewing, or traditional big men, I think Patrick Ewing is one of the best out there. Next up is Mo Williams, a great card from the Seasons of Giving set. Honestly, kind of impressed with the overall great performance of most of the Seasons of Giving cards. They've actually all, at least in my opinion, performed very, very, very well throughout the year. And he is just one of those guys that I think comes out and just gets buckets, like buckets, super quick, which is great. You know, comes with a quick first step, comes with gold range, comes with a great, great, great jump shot and jump shot 4. Just really not the most amazing defender. You can fix it and badge it up, but I mean, pick up Mo Williams, use him what he's for, get him buckets, and that's really about it. And it's actually a pretty fun card to use. Next up is Amethyst. I guess they're all Amethyst. Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball just most recently dropped in the new Idol Series Magic Johnson set, which is actually an okay set all around, for being honest. 6'6" height, which is great for a PG, and he does everything that Lonzo should. Play make really well, play amazing defense, and actually get some nice finishes, and can occasionally hit the three-point shot for you. I just think he's that beautiful baseline PG that I think you kind of throw in there because everybody else on your team is going to be a great offensive threat, and you just need somebody to kind of hold it down on defense and get the other guys the ball, and I think Lonzo does that great. I think he plays perfectly on a team where maybe your best card is going to be, you know, Kevin Durant. And that's who you want to score with every single time. So you just need some nice helpful pieces around that. And Lonzo, I think, plays that perfectly. Next up is Lamarcus Aldridge. Lamarcus Aldridge, I absolutely love just because, I mean, it's LA. He can hit the 3-ball. He's got a nice jump shot. Still kind of plays defense. Still rebounds very, very, very well. And actually has an amazing post game. So you can kind of throw some people off there if you really know what you're doing. Plus, Hall of Fame catch and shoot. It's just beautiful. I think he's just one of those, you know, centers that I've used for so long that I've really gotten used to him, and he's really helped me in basically every single limited weekend since I've got him. So maybe I hold him in a little bit higher esteem because of that, but still a great card. Next up is John Collins, a center power forward that is literally only here because he is so good offensively, and it kind of negates how bad he is defensively, because this John Collins is a demon on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, terrible. Like, absolutely terrible. So beware of that when picking him up. Next up is Eddie Curry. Amethyst Eddie Curry is that, like, center that you pick up because he can do a little bit of everything, that, like, jack of all trades center. That's kind of why you're snagging him. That's what you're doing with him. And he plays that perfectly. I mean, really, plays it perfectly. I haven't seen too many people use it with Eddie Curry, but he can kind of hit the 3-ball. I've been okay shooting with Eddie Curry. Not amazing, but definitely not bad. Good finisher, good post guy, solid defender, solid rebounder. Like, again, he just does everything really, really well, or pretty well, that, you know, I thought B tier was fair. And last but not least is going to be Amethyst Daniel Gibson in the B tier. Daniel Gibson is the guy from the LeBron James Spotlight Reward, I think the last one that we got. And Daniel Gibson's great because, I mean, when you get a guy that comes with, you know, deep threes, quick first step already, you gotta love it. And he's basically just Mo Williams with the MJ base and can dunk, which is still an amazing offensive card. Just again, no defense. So I feel like Mo Williams, Daniel Gibson, kind of the same guy. If you want all offense, they're the way to go. Now, starting off into the A tier, we do have Bingo Smith. Bingo Smith is basically a shooting guard LeBron James, if we could kind of put it that way, with an afro, which is cool, which is nice. And now you can badge up a few things really make this Bingo Smith amazing, but he already is a solid shooter, already is a really good finisher, a really good playmaker, and he has good defense. Just need to add some badges in there. And the only thing I don't like is that he doesn't have amazing dribbling moves and has a LeBron layup package, which, again, I just hate it. But this Bingo Smith can be an amazing card, especially if you get that range on him and all that wonderful stuff. Just a really, really solid all-around Amethyst card. Next up is going to be Amethyst Tyler Hero, who, when badged up, I think is going to be one of those guys that you just really can't help but love. Tyler Hero with that Treyberg base is just absolutely insane. He literally just does not miss three-point shots, and it is beautiful to see. Really just does everything for you, and yeah, it's insane. Even play makes pretty well, can actually dunk really nice as well. Add a clamps onto him, add a pick dodger onto him, and then throw the rest into quick first step and finishing, and you have a really, really solid offensive card that's just so good on that side that I threw him up. Next up is going to be Steve Francis. Steve Francis is one of those amethysts that I feel like when you patch him up, literally does everything perfectly that you would want. He can hit 3-ball like crazy with a really good jump shot, even from deep with range once you badge that up. Already comes with bronze cleanse, which can be upgraded. Has playmaking, that's great. Has dunking, which is insane. And some pretty nice dribbling moves along with the Curry slide. Like, Steve Francis is a beast. Next up is Amethyst Shawn Kemp. And Shawn Kemp is one of those guys who does everything great at the 4 and the 5. I think plays the small ball kind of really well, because Shawn Kemp's one of those guys that comes out there and really creates a matchup problem because he's so good offensively and so quick that if you're running one of those slower centers, there's no way you're guarding Shawn Kemp because he just gets down the court way too quick and can rebound and play okay defense. Like, okay defense. He's kind of meant for those running gun style teams, which is really nice, and I've seen this Shawn Kemp really kill it. And you got to love the fact that he still has an 80-shot 3 as well, which is really, really solid. Next up is Amethyst Serge Ibaka. Less of the running gun style as Shawn Kemp, and more of the, you know, hit the occasional 3, kind of play that pick and pop role with it, and really hold it down on defense as well. Because Serge Ibaka is a great defender, a great rebounder. I love the jump shot, and he really stretches the floor pretty well, and still dunks everybody's head and does everything great there. Serge Ibaka, my guy. Next up is Klay Thompson, one of the best, purest 3-and-D cards in the entire game. And if he had quick first step, It feels a little bit cheesier. I feel like we could throw him into S tier. But as is, the Klay Thompson jumper is so smooth, so clean, with such great defense. You gotta love him, man. You gotta love him. Next up is Jimmy Butler, another guy that I kind of use as like a 3-and-D sort of role. Just plays great. I mean, it's Jimmy. He plays amazing defense. He shuts everything down, but just does everything great. Next up is Gerald Wallace, somebody that I view as kind of like a slight step up to a Jimmy Butler. There we go. Couldn't remember the name. And that's just because Gerald Wallace is another, play a lot of defense kind of guys, which is great. An amazing finisher, a solid shooter, and has quick first step and downhill, which is great as well. The jump shot for and Giannis behind the back. Frames animation, which is amazing. Just plays such good defense, dunks everybody's head so well, and can still hit great threes if you time your release right. That I love Gerald Wallace. Next up is De'Aaron Fox, his Amethyst, and he is beautiful. De'Aaron Fox is, I feel like, one of the first, budget PGs at least that we've got this season that was really able to do everything. He plays great defense. The Hall of Fame quick first step with a 97 speed opens up so many opportunities for you because he's an amazing finisher. The shooting is still great with the Paul George jump shot base. I feel like it really opens everything up for you, and it just makes him just an absolute demon. De'Aaron Fox is great, and in Limit this weekend is actually a really solid card. And last but not least, for the A tier, we do have D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell, another one of those offensive guys, and the person that I was talking about with Kyrie Irving, where I used both of them, and I actually leaned towards D'Angelo Russell because for some reason the D-Lo base felt smoother. I was able to hit it really consistently. The playmaking felt great, and we can actually batch up the defense and make him not a non-factor on that defensive end. So D-Lo, I actually really like. And if you like Wayne Embry, you'll love D-Lo because it's the exact same jumper base. And starting off the S tier, we do only have a few cards in here. One being the Amethyst Pascal Siakam, who I think is just one of those so good all-around cards that you gotta love him. He finishes amazing. He shoots the 3-ball great. I love the jumper. The defense all around is absolutely insane. So he plays the 3 and the 4 great. Comes with you a quick first step and a downhill, which I absolutely love. Has the Giannis behind the back again, which I absolutely love. Pascal Siakam, when it comes to Amethyst, I think just kind of plays that all-around role really well, and basically kind of feels like me, just an Amethyst Jonathan Isaac, which is great. Next up is the Amethyst Drew Holiday, another one of those guys. You can kind of see I'm really a big proponent of guys that play a lot of defense in this, because Drew Holiday is an amazing defender, is an amazing playmaker, really shoots the 3-ball great, and even has amazing finishing and dunks to everybody. But this Drew Holiday is an absolute problem. Gets so many beautiful bump animations, plays such great defense, and still goes out there, hits a pretty consistent 3-point shot, which is great, and it's just overall amazing. And you could even add, deep threes on him to really make him that next level if you wanted to, and I really want to hate on you for it. Next up is Amethyst Hedo Turkoglu. Hedo is a card that I've loved since he came into the game, and he has just been beautiful. Love the jumper on him. I hate it on the cards, but I love it on Hedo. The playmaking great for a 6'10" guy. He feels super quick, super smooth, super nice. Finishes really well again because he's 6'10". He can get it up and over players. And once you badge up that defense, he actually feels like a super capable and solid defender. Although at the 4, I've been able to run him without putting clamps and things like that on him, and he still played great, which is awesome. Next up is Amethyst Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, another one of those possessed cards that just plays great when badged up. And because people know how great this Donovan Mitchell is, there's actually quite a few badged up. Has jump shot 4, has some great animations, really plays great. And even though he's a 6'1" guy, has a 6'10" wingspan, that allows him to just play out of his mind. And last but not least is the best Amethyst PG in the game, and even like the best budget PG in the game in my opinion, and it's Amethyst Cp3. This Amethyst Cp3 plays out of this world, has a beautiful jump shot, clamps it down for a 6-foot PG, comes with deep threes, comes with quick first step, and shoots the lights out. The only thing Chris Paul can't do is dunk, and even has the Curry layup package, which is beautiful. Like, if this Chris Paul could dunk, we'll be talking about him as one of the best PGs in the game because he's just that good. Like, seriously, is that good. Let me know what you guys think about the list down in the comment section below. This is what my opinion is for the best Amethyst cards in the game. Pick yourself up that Chris Paul, that Hedo, and that Pascal, and ooh, you'll be looking good. Again, comment your favorite Amethyst that you guys use all the time down in the comment section below. Who's your favorite card to use Unlimited and all that wonderful stuff. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are new on that road to 10K subscribers. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see y'all in the next video.